All right, let's get right into it. The small West African nation of Benin is making a huge bet. We're talking about a $20 billion plan to completely reshape its economy by building a massive, futuristic city from scratch. The goal is incredibly audacious, but you have to wonder, what's the real cost of a dream this big? And that's really the big question, isn't it? We're not talking about a few new buildings here. The vision is to create a global hub, a Dubai of West Africa. It's the kind of idea that sounds amazing, but also makes you step back and ask, wait, can they actually pull this off? This chart really puts the scale of this ambition into perspective. Look at Benin with its 14 million people sitting right next to a giant like Nigeria. It just shows you how bold this really is. This isn't some regional superpower flexing its muscles. It's a smaller nation making an absolutely massive bet on its future. So let's break down the official vision. What exactly is this $20 billion dream that Benin is chasing? Okay, so the heart of the whole plan is this place, the Glo-Djigbé Industrial Zone, or GDIZ. For decades, Benin has been stuck in this old economic trap. They grow amazing cotton and cashews, they ship them out raw, and then they have to import the finished clothes and snacks. President Talon, who actually made his fortune in cotton, is determined to flip that script and bring all that manufacturing home. And this is the official promise right from the top. The language is grand. Boost employment, create wealth, raise Benin's international profile. This isn't just being sold as an economic project. It's being framed as a complete national transformation, a new beginning for the entire country. The pitch for the GDIZs is super futuristic. They're marketing it as this self-contained world, a work, live, learn, play community. It's got its own reliable power grids, cutting-edge smart infrastructure, and, get this, a special administrative single window designed to just slice through all the usual government red tape. It's meant to be a perfect little bubble of hyper-efficiency. But this gleaming vision of a modern city, it isn't just about roads and power lines. Behind the scenes, there's a really powerful and, pretty controversial idea at play, and it's backed by some very influential names. This is where the story gets really interesting. So, this project has caught the eye of some serious heavy hitters. We're talking about a group of libertarian-leaning investors, including a venture firm called Pronomos Capital, which happens to be backed by tech billionaire Peter Thiel. And their interest? It goes way beyond just making a profit. They see Benin as a testing ground for a radical new way of governing. And this interest is all based on a concept that's both innovative and, depending on who you ask, deeply controversial. The idea of creating what is essentially a state within a state. This brings us to the core concept, the charter city. Okay, so what is that? Imagine a special zone inside a country that gets to write its own rulebook. Seriously, it can operate with its own laws, its own regulations, all designed to create this super efficient, pro-business environment where things can happen fast. And this is exactly what makes the model so attractive to investors and so concerning to critics. We're talking about a place with its own legal system and massive tax breaks. It's a huge incentive for business, but it also raises a giant question. Who is this city actually accountable to? Now, the main company promoting this model is a platform called Prospera. Their African operation was, until not too long ago, run by the well-known entrepreneur Magate Wade. Well, that partnership has since ended in a pretty messy lawsuit, which just gives you a little hint of the high-stakes, high-pressure world surrounding these kinds of ventures. But what does this push for economic autonomy and crazy fast innovation actually feel like for the people working on the ground? This is where the story takes a sharp and pretty troubling turn. I mean, this quote just cuts right through all the hype. The conditions are miserable. Wages are too low. Suddenly, that dream of a high-tech paradise feels very, very far away. This is the reality for some of the people building that dream. And the details that have come out are even more disturbing. Workers have reportedly used the term slave labor to describe their conditions. They talk about sewing hundreds and hundreds of polo shirts a day, with constant pressure to work even faster. And this quote, wow, this one really captures the growing fear on the ground. There's this feeling that this new Benin isn't being built for the people of Benin at all. Instead, it's seen as a project for global investors to get rich, while the local workers who are building it all struggle to feed their families. So when you zoom out,
You see what this really is, a massive, nation-defining gamble. The stakes could not possibly be higher.
And let's just remember that number at the center of all this, $20 billion. To make this happen, Benin has gone deep, deep into debt, staking its entire financial future on the success of this one massive project. So you're left with these two completely different potential futures. On one hand, you have the dream, a Dubai of West Africa, 300,000 new jobs, a high-tech powerhouse that could be a model for the entire continent. But on the other hand, you have the nightmare, a nation buried in debt, its own sovereignty compromised, and its people left behind. So what will Benin's $20 billion bet become? Is the Glo-Djigbé Industrial Zone going to be a shining roadmap for development in Africa, or will it become a cautionary tale about what happens when big dreams, foreign capital, and national sovereignty all collide? For now, only time will tell.